Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gochi, and on this channel I basically talk about things that are God related or anything that's been on my mind in the moment, while also drawing at the same time, hence all those shorts that you've probably seen of me drawing. And if this is your first time, welcome to my channel. I just basically explained everything that's going to be on here, and this will probably be my first actual episode, so I hope you enjoy. And just to kind of introduce myself more outside of my introductory video, you can basically think of me as a Christian commentary YouTuber in a weird way, where again, I'll be talking about stuff God related, or I'll be talking about things happening that I see going on in the way that I like to, or it can literally just be me talking about my favorite video game of all time, and Yakuza. Anyways, I'm in no way, shape, or form a Bible scholar in the sense of being a rabbi, but I do enjoy reading it and I do dissecting it in a way. So as I grow into reading it, I want to share it more with all of you guys, and hopefully you guys learn something from me. So yeah, and I guess that will lead me into kind of the topic of this video, which will be my testimony at the current moment, because it's still a work in progress, and hence the title, This Is My Testimony. Okay, anyways, I suck with lyrics, so don't trust me whenever I sing some songs, because sometimes I'll be saying stuff the wrong way. Something funny actually happened to me recently with that one Christmas song that Chris Brown sang. I always thought it said clap your hands, but it says shake your hands. And I didn't find that out till now, and I've been listening to this song for almost 2 decades, so I find that very humiliating. But anyways, yeah, so it's just gonna be me sharing about my story, about my life up till now, and to a certain extent there will be some parts that I may keep out, but not all of it. The majority of it I'm gonna keep in. And the main reason why I'm doing this is actually, I went to this church service at this church called Mercy Culture. This isn't my main church. I have another main church, but I wanted to go and visit because I saw it was in my area. And I was like, ooh, let me go check it out and see. And then that day, the wife of the main pastor, Heather Scott, don't quote me on that, but I'll probably put the name up here for you guys to see. She was talking about gratitude, and then one thing that spoke to me was towards the end of the service, whenever she was talking about basically sharing your testimony is kind of showing gratitude to God, because it's hey, you brought me from point A to point B, and how can I not share it with other people? Because whenever you're grateful about something, you're gonna want to share it with other people, and also talk about how good that person is. If someone gives you $1,000, you're gonna be oh my gosh, so and so just gave me $1,000 and I needed that to pay my rent or something. Or at least that's kind of what I got from it. And one of the verses that she talked about was actually in Revelations. It's Revelations 12 verses 10 through 11, and it says, "Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say," and also I'm reading this in an IV just so you guys can know. Actually, I may switch it to NLT because NLT has a soft spot in my heart. But basically it says, "Then I heard a loud voice shouting across the heavens, 'It has come at last, salvation and power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters has been thrown down to earth, the one who accuses them before our God day and night. And they have defeated him by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimony. And they did not love their lives so much that they were afraid to die.'" And the part that spoke out to me the most was actually by defeating, whenever they say defeated him by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimony, they're talking about the accuser of our brothers and sisters. And by the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who are they talking about? Who would want to accuse us and, want us to die and go down to hell with him? I'll give you guys 3 seconds who it is. So Yeah, it's the devil. Let's be real. It's Satan. He's the one who accuses us of the things that in our life. Like sometimes we do have sins and stuff in our life. Mini tangent. Basically bad things that we do, whether we're, and like usually like that guilt comes from him. I mean, in a way it comes from us, but like he's the one who accuses you. Like, let's say you stole and you know like you're not supposed to steal. Well, and you already feel guilty about it. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have stolen. Now you feel so bad about it. And he's like, yeah, you're a bad person because you stole. You don't deserve this or that because of what you did. And that's who you are. But Jesus tells us that's not who we are, and that we are called to be the sons and daughter of God. So that's basically like a mini tangent there that I wanted to say. But verse 11 was the one that got me the most, because they said, and they have defeated him by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimony. And the by their testimony part got to me, because she was talking about how like we should share our testimonies and things with the world. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad I went to that service, because before, whenever I was considering starting my channel, I was like, I've been posting shorts for like a pretty decent time. Although September, I was like bawling, like that's where I got most of my subscribers. But then I stopped for a minute because like I didn't feel like drawing, artist things. But anyways, she was talking about how like it's important to share your testimony, get people to know your testimonies, because like you never know, someone may be in a similar spot to you, and like your testimony may be the thing for them to realize like, hey, like God, like it's like me saying like God did this for me and I know he can do this for you too. And it's also showing gratitude that he got me out of that situation. So why would I want to like shut up about it? Why would I want to be silent? And originally, like my first video, I wanted to do it over my favorite book in the Bible. Be sure to like pin mark this. Ecclesiastes is one of the best books by far. I actually started reading it when I was like taking my theory of knowledge class in high school, and it was basically everything we were learning in that class, but like a good biblical explanation for it. And I was like, yeah, meaningless, life is utterly meaningless, or at least it is without God. So yeah, and I was like, but I didn't really feel good about it being my first episode per se. Like I was like, I feel like there should be a better way to start this off. And I ended up on, and after listening to like that service, I ended up on doing it based off my testimony, because that's a good way to start it off, because it's like, okay, like kind of like showing you where I am in my current space, or like my current space and time. And then maybe like, I don't know, like a year later or something, I can update on you guys on it. Because like, yes, people have like their main testimony, but I also believe like you also have many little testimonies that it may seem small to you, but it could actually do like mean a lot in like the long run whenever you really look back on it. So I am going to share mine probably right about now, really. Okay, so if y'all didn't know, I'm a college student. Like, if that wasn't obvious, I said I was like recording this in my school's podcast room. And so like, if I hit the microphone a couple times, it wasn't me, God. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I guess I was born in 2005. I have mom, I have 3 younger siblings and my dad, and it's like I have surprisingly a lot of family members around me, even though like they weren't born here. But it's still like surprising how many like people are around me. That always surprises me. But anyways, so I guess this will start in August 11th. And this day was kind of like, no, it wasn't August 11th. it was August 10th. So basically every Wednesday my church has this thing where like we have like our high school kids service where like we're gonna talk more about like high school related stuff versus like on the Sunday school days they have like the middle school. I mean, they have the little kids service, but it's separate from like the middle school, high school services in the sense of like you talk about more grown-up stuff, but like sometimes you gotta admit like the high school grown-up stuff are a little more heavier weight than the middle school stuff, but like there's still middle schoolers who show up sometime, but like generally it's recommended for the high school kids to be there because it's gonna be more like hardcore in the sense of like speaking to the hearts of the high schoolers. But anyways, on that day we were actually praying, and what's it called, honestly I think it was around this time where depending on what year this is, if this was 2022, this was actually not when I started applying for school, because I remember I applied for Harvard sometime in like before their early action deadline, and then what's it called, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, school, this is like the beginning of my senior year, and I was like, college is expensive, like Harvard is worth like $200K, and then there are other schools I applied for like SMU, I applied for UNM, and then I also applied for like UNT and stuff like that, like Columbia and Yale and things like that. I was like, the Ivies that I applied for, those were my reach schools. I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't get in, I was like, well, I saved myself a bunch of money, like I'm not gonna die. But then like I had some other schools like UNM, I was considering UNT, I just applied to because I know I'd get in, but my mom was like, don't go there. And I was like, why? And she was like, because I went there and like you need to do better than me, because like her whole thing is like, okay, like be better than me, so I expect more from you to not do like my mistakes. So basically, you know, like what a parent wants, like they're like to their kids, like be better than me. Although it would have been cool if I went to her alma mater, that would have been awesome, but or at least I assume that's what it's called. Her alumni, I don't know, it's something like that. But anyways, and then we were praying, I think it was towards the end of the service, and then this was like my youth pastor's like first actual like service there, and then I made sure to write this down because my thing is that like whenever you have dreams or like whenever someone speaks something over you, write it down, because like there's a good chance you'll forget it, except like those crazy dreams, like, but sometimes you have like, you know, one of those crazy dreams that you can't remember and you know was important. So I'd recommend like once you have a dream, you wake up, write it down, pray over it, and then maybe share it with someone you trust, whether it's a parent, whether it's a spiritual leader, someone who you can trust like spiritually with it. Talk to them about it, but first pray to God to like reveal it to you. And one of the things that he said to me was like how I've been writing down stuff for years and how I will counsel people in the future who are alone and brokenhearted. And he talked about how I love to study and gain knowledge, which is still very much true. Like I know I'm going to be in school forever. And how he sees me with a PhD and becoming a quote-unquote doctor. Now, I'm not becoming a real doctor. That's a dream I put far away once I saw surgery pictures. But like, you know, a doctor in like something. And he said that finances, this is the main part, that finances won't be a problem. And I don't have to worry because God will see me through. And after that, I wrote amen. Because like, you know, you have to come to agreement with that and things about that. And then, but the finance part is the one that I kept with me most, and the part that he said about how I will counsel people. Now, I don't really know how to be a counselor. That's still something I'm walking through. All I know is that like a counselor is someone who gives advice. And then I also remember reading this one Bible verse. I think it was talking about how either like Jesus or God, like the Father, they're like the wonderful counselor. Let me look it up real quick on Google, because Google is a lifesaver for real. Bible verses about wonderful counseling. Sorry, that is my thinking hum. But anyways, Okay, so it's in Isaiah 9:6. I don't know what version this is. This is what Google AI is giving me. You know, I should actually just pull it up myself. Like, probably would be better that way. And again, this will be NLT, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. And it says, "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." And by the name Prince of Peace, I know that's Jesus because, like, you know, he's the Son of God. And what's it called? And by it saying being a child would be born to us, it's like an insinuation, like, oh, like Jesus came on earth as a baby. And he is a wonderful counselor. He's mighty God. He's our everlasting Father. And he's also the Prince of Peace. And the part that stuck out to me was wonderful counselor, because at the end of the day, Jesus did give advice. He was a counselor. So I hope that through this channel, I may be able to like learn more about it and step into that. And also by reading the word and praying and constant prayer. But like I was saying earlier, like the finance thing was the one that stuck to me. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a script for any of this. I only had a script for like the beginning intro, but I feel like, I don't know, this video feels like a wing it and see what happens, and I hope it's recording my audio. If not, I will actually cry and I'll have to reschedule another day for me to use this room and to record it again. But anyways, and then there was something else he said during another service, where it further confirmed the thing about being a counselor. And it was kind of like, he kind of like talked to me again, and he was like how I shouldn't doubt myself. God created me like this. And he said that I hide pain behind my smile, which I'm kind of like a very happy child. So I'm like, definitely. And he also said to share my visions and ideas and to write them down. And from that, I noted like I need to be bold and speak out. Hence also the reason why I'm making this channel, because social media is a very scary place. So I'm like stepping out and claiming that for myself. And then he prayed for boldness and to take my mind captive, and that I had a little flame of faith and I need to grow it into a fire. And that he also said again that I was called to be a counselor. So that's kind of like been how my prayers been this day. But again, he said like not to worry about my finances because God will see me through. And that brings me to school. Okay, so if y'all are wondering which school I go to, it's definitely not Harvard, because whenever I applied for it, I got deferred, which it was my dream school, but I wasn't sad. I was disappointed, but I was like, again, I saved like $500,000 not going there. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe this was for the greater good. But at least by being deferred, I was like, hey, they still appreciated me and my smarts. Now, I wasn't valedictorian or anything. I was ranked like number like 62 out of 800 kids. So that puts me in like the top 7%. But I think it went down to top 9 actually later on because of calculus. AP Calculus AB, my worst enemy. But I mean, I got a 3 on that AP exam, so I was proud of myself, but I wasn't proud of myself for the grades in those classes. But anyways, and I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at writing. Like, I've always liked it. I always like to read, although I haven't been reading a lot these days. Well, I say that, but then I'll find like a comic book that the premise really interests me, and then I will read it until it's completely done. Like, I did that recently for this book, Pride and Prejudice. It took me like a whole day to read that book, but it was a whole day well worth it. Like, I stayed up till like 5 a.m. trying to finish it. And honestly, like, there are moments like that where I'll read something and I just can't put the book down. So that's kind of like a little tidbit about me. But anyways, what was I talking about? Yes, my school, which is a part of my testimony. So basically, I applied to Harvard, I got deferred. I applied to the other RVs, I got rejected, which I wasn't expecting, but I was expecting. I was like, I wasn't attached to them. I was like, I I don't care. Like, I just applied to see if I could get in, but not if I could like get like an actual, like, I wasn't gonna go to Yale. Like, let's be real, I wasn't gonna go to Yale. I just didn't feel like it. Now, if I got accepted into Harvard, I probably would have went if they paid my entire school, but no. And then I got into UNM. I was like, oh yay. And then I got into UNT and stuff, and I was like happy about all those applications. But then what's it called? I had my so I'm currently going to a school called SMU, right? And that's like in Dallas, Texas, which isn't far from where we live. I'm not going to share my address on here because I know people are crazy, but that's the school I currently go to. And the funny thing is that I originally didn't want to go to because I kind of put all my pennies on the bag and for like Harvard. But like, you know, I got deferred and I didn't feel like writing those letters to try and convince him to let me back in. So I was like, yeah. But for SMU, I applied like very, very, very late. And honestly, it was because I started considering it last minute, because originally I wanted to study human rights here and something math related. It was either going to be solid math or economics. Very later, I switched it to economics because I realized I had to take a calculus 3. And if you don't know me, I have beef with calculus. So I was like, oof, I'm not putting myself through that suffering. But then I applied to like this school very last minute, and kind of like my goal was, well, by that time, a lot of the scholarships that we have, like the presidential things like that, they were gone. Like, it was too late for me to apply it. Like, I kid you not, I think the deadline in 2023 was January 15th. I sent that application at like 8 p.m. January 14th. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I ate those college application letters. Like, they were pretty solid. And then like, what's it called? And then I wrote that and I submitted my application, and I was like, my heart wasn't attached to UNM. My heart wasn't attached to UTD, which I also got into. I also got into UTD. My heart wasn't attached to like UNT. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I was like kind of like banking on SMU because I was like, I could honestly see this. Plus the campus is really pretty, but I could honestly see this as being like the school for me. I don't know how, I don't know why, but this is my school. And then, then this leads me into the trouble with my FAFSA and CSS. So with me applying late, I mean, I already submitted my FAFSA by that time, but then sometime after applying to the school, I realized that I submitted the wrong FAFSA form. So I was supposed to submit it for, I think, the school year 2023 to 24. I submitted it for 22-23 because I thought by it saying 23 it meant like fall 2023, but that's not how it works, guys. Okay, so it goes based off the year you're like trying to look in. So like, if you want to go into school for the fall, you do like the year you're currently in and that next year. That's how you're supposed to fill it out. But anyways, I realized that it was late, and their due date was like in February, really close to the day I redid the new one, and I was crying in the bathroom. I was like, bro, God, please, like, let me go in and everything. Like, I called the school and everything. I was like, bro, I can't believe I submitted this late. Like, that is crazy. And I was like scared I wouldn't get like financial aid for the school, because like, let me just say, I have beef with the tuition right now. Like, it's like, it was like $85K at that point. And I was like, oof, I'm not going to go to this school if they're going to make me pay the entire $85K. Like, that's just the real fact. So I was like, okay, let me apply for FAFSA. And then so I submitted that, and thank God it went through. And then I got what I needed from that in terms of like the Pell Grant. So that was really, really good. Then came the CSS profile right after. So apparently for some private colleges, usually most, if not all, and some public colleges, they will require you to fill this thing called the CSS profile, which is like this thing through College Board, where basically schools will offer you financial aid through that Sorry, I'm stuttering. I just got a message on my tablet, which is in front of me. Schools will offer you financial aid through that, but like it's like financial aid direct to the school, so like need-based stuff. And I was like, I needed to apply for this. And then I also applied for that really last minute, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna get any money, because I submitted those things really late, like past the deadline date late. And I was like, honestly, God, like, please help me with this. Like, I was like freaking out big time. Like, he knows how much I was freaking out. But like, I was like, God, please help me with my school. I don't think I can pay it all. I submitted these things late because I didn't know about them. Ooh, my computer. Which, if you don't know, I'm a second generation college student, but in a way that's like really weird. Because like, I'm like, I guess I'm a second generation immigrant. So like one of my IB English teachers, she summed this up pretty good, where she's like, being a second generation immigrant is weird because like your parents, like they came to the country and like you're born here, you live here, but it's weird in the sense of like you're kind of struggling with the culture of your parents while also struggling with like the new country you're in. So it's like definitely, yeah, because like I'm kind of like stuck between like Congolese culture versus US culture and all of the stuff that brings. But like my parents, they didn't go to high school here. Now they went to college here and they finished it when I was around like 12, 13. They both got their degrees and stuff. So like I could no longer claim that first generation college student thing. But that doesn't matter because like, you know, they have their bachelor's. So education is good, kids. Go to school. But what's it called? And I don't know if like the audio you can hear it. I'm kind of like moving this microphone closer to me. So what's it called? So by them not going to high school here, they didn't really go through like the whole high school application thing. Like my mom came here originally for school, and then so she went here before I was born. She came here like 20 years ago, and she did have to do FAFSA, but like I would say like their school application things were very different to me, because it was like, okay, not only do I have to apply for schools, but I also have to focus a lot on my high school GPA, because if I have like a 1.7, I'm not getting anywhere, versus like if I have like a 4.0, okay, I can get into like most schools, things like that. So I kind of like focused on things like that, and I kind of wrote the essays myself, because like I said earlier, I'm a good writer, and I felt pretty confident in what I had to write. Like the only thing I had someone check was my Common App, and I had my teacher check that. But even that, I wrote that, and then I submitted them, and then I had my mom check over like my actual school ones, just for her to see and be like, ooh, like, is this good? Does it sound trash? How does this go to you? And then she would give me her feedback, and then I'd edit it, which I'm very like low-key anti-editing when it comes to essays, because I just like writing it all out. And then I usually like, my second revision period whenever I'm writing is usually just me like fixing vocab and things like that, which respectfully doesn't take me that long. And I'm like I didn't, which is funny because me and my roommate from last year, you're talking about this, we were like, oh, Grammarly, stuff like that. And I was like, I haven't downloaded Grammarly until I had like my writer's class last year. I was like, I'm just so scared of like that AI/plagiarism tag that I didn't even have that. I would just go in and do what Google told me to do and stuff. Like even for like the bibliography, the citation, works cited page, I wrote those by hand according to, shout out to Purdue OWL MLA format citation thing. Helps me a lot for every single essay I write. But I would basically use that and look at the website and type it as I'm reading it, so that like, you know, if they tell me I plagiarized, I can be like, actually, this was my own brain work. And so that's kind of like what I did for my essays. And then it came really close to the time of whenever I got into the school, and I was like, okay, let me just pray about this. Like we did like a little fast, because I think it was also during the beginning of the year too. So I was doing like this 40-day fast that my youth pastors invited us to do. I did it on juice because I am not ready to do a food fast, but I'm slowly working my way there. Like one day I'll be like those people doing like food, like those full day Esther fasts. But anyways, and then I keep saying but anyways, I need to get straight to the point. I just love side tangents. But it came close to me to apply to the school. And at this point, after crying over FAFSA and stuff, the way how I prayed for the school, for SMU in particular, for SMU, I was like, God, honestly, if I'm meant to go to this school, like, please help me get in. Like, if I'm meant to go here, I know you'll provide everything for me. If I'm not meant to go here, like, that's fine with me too. Either way, like, I know I'm gonna go to school and I know you'll provide. So that was kind of like my prayer for that. And then, lo and behold, I get that letter, whether I got accepted or rejected, and drum roll please, I got accepted. And then I was like, yeah, I was super happy. And this was actually like, I'm gonna say March through May. It was one of those months. Like, don't quote me on these times. My schedules are very out of whack. But anyways, it was around that time. And then I was basically like, yeah, like I got into the school I wanted to. Yeah. And then everything was all sunshine and rainbows. Like everyone in my family was proud of me. And it was a really good time. I was like, woohoo, I'm going to a nice school, a pretty good school, and a decently well-ranked one. Although our rankings went down to like from 72 to 89 due to some new regulations. But at least we're still in the top 100. Granted, I haven't checked if our rankings have switched. So I'll keep on the lookout for that. But like, we're a pretty good business school if you don't know. Like our Cox School of Business is pretty decent. Or like pretty decent. I mean, like it's pretty awesome. But yeah, and we have a lot of opportunities, especially being in Dallas, which respectfully in Texas probably has like the most companies here. So I was like, yeah, I get connections to like the people on the inside. But anyways, then I saw that tuition amount. I was like, oof, I don't think I could go here. And this was around the time where I was like considering on either going to UT Dallas or going to SMU. I was like, ooh, because UT Dallas had a smaller price tag, but they were more stingy with their money versus like SMU. I was like, $85,000? God, respectfully, where am I supposed to get $85,000? And then, but let me tell you, do not sleep on private schools, because their financial aid will surprise you. Because like, what's it called? Or at least this one did. Because I ended up clicking on it and my financial aid package was sweet. They gave me like $60,000 per like year. So it's like, okay, per semester I pay like $40,000. So then it was like I get like a solid like $30,000-ish per semester. So I'm only paying like $13,000 a semester. So I was like, thank God, like I'm definitely going here now, because like that's basically like even more than like what UT Dallas was giving me. And then so I ended up going here, but then even then I was like, $13,000 a semester, that's like $30,000 a year, because again it was only like 60,000-ish. I know the math isn't mathing, but like it's like, okay, I got like 60, yeah, I got like 69,000-ish if I'm not mistaken. Let me go and check on my financial aid stuff, because I know those numbers aren't right. But I got like a pretty decent amount of money that year. We did 23, 24. Yeah, so I got, I got like about $69,000-ish for that year. So, or yeah, 65,000. So that was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, but like, what's gonna happen for the other like 35,000 split up between each semester? So I was kind of like freaking out about it. But then in the back of my mind, I kind of kept the idea like, okay, I'm gonna have faith in God, because he said finance won't be a problem with me and that I don't have to worry about school. And so I was like, okay, I keep this in your hands. Like, you wanted me to go here, and if you truly said that, then every step of the way you're gonna provide for me the entire way. And what's it called? And then first semester went by pretty well. I mean, I was able to pay not too much. I only had one late payment for December, and that was because I locked my card. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of subscriptions that kept going through, and I wasn't working at the time because my first year I didn't work because my parents didn't want me to. They were like, get used to life on campus. But this year, I am making money. Like, I need cash, okay? But I was like, yeah, that was the only late payment at the time. So I was still able to enroll in everything, enroll in my classes on time. Then came spring 2024. And what's it called? In this part, I kind of need to talk or introduce my family dynamics a little, in the sense of my mom and my dad are now currently split up, and I feel like right now I'm not gonna talk about that, but they're basically getting a divorce, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna share right now. Maybe in a later testimony video I will talk about it, but it was kind of a hassle to get money from my dad to pay for my school. So I was like, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was only able to pay $2,000, maybe $4,000 for that semester, but I still had a solid $7,000 left. And I was and it was really hard getting money from him. And I was like, how am I supposed to pay for my school? And as the day kept going by, and then my friends started to enroll, that's really the time where you feel sad, because you feel everyone else is enrolling, and then it's just you, and they're talking about, hey, I got these classes, and I'm ooh, I can't really tell y'all that because I'm not able to enroll. I don't even know if I'm gonna be here next semester, so I'd just be oh yeah, I haven't been able to enroll yet, still waiting for waitlist, blah blah blah. And it was around this time I applied for the business school, because I realized I was maybe accounting is the route for me, because I love econ. I really, really do. It's a macro. I low-key hate that class, but I like the econ. But then I was accounting, because I used to play volleyball, right? And I really love doing book for volleyball. And it's actually a funny story, because for the first time I ever did book, I messed up so bad that they had to pause the game for what felt 30 minutes to an hour just to fix the book. And I was ever since that day, I never made a single mistake. I made sure to keep track of everything in the game. And then if coaches tried to argue with me, I'd be I know what I'm doing. The book never lies. Don't even at me, man. And like that, I basically gained some confidence in that. And what's it called? So I was accounting feels to me to be pretty similar. That's what I wrote in my letter. And whenever I got accepted, I was yeah. But now I realize, because now I'm basically starting accounting as a freshman. But then my other major, I'm starting that as a sophomore. So it's I'm definitely going to be staying in school for a while, guys. I will be that super senior. But anyways, then I was yeah, I was super sad because I wasn't able to enroll yet, and all my friends were enrolling. And then I was God, this was whenever I was freaking out. This was my freak out, even though I knew what he was telling me era, where I was God, I know you said that, but I'm freaking out, man. What's happening, bro? And I was basically I did cry at a time. I was God, you told me you were gonna send me here, but why am I not able to pay for my school? It was really sad. I was I really wanted to go here. I know you wanted me to here, but I don't want me to be here, but I don't even know if I'm able to register. And this is the part where I will introduce another verse, which is I highlighted it. Isaiah 55:11. And this is an important thing for if you ever get a word from God, a vision, a dream, or God tells you something like, hey, or God through someone else tells you something like, hey, this is what I'm telling you. This is what I have for your life. Listen here. And what's it called? Actually, it's verses 10 through 11. Just so you know. So Isaiah 10 through 11 NLT version is what I'm reading. And it says this. The rain and the snow come down from the heavens and stay on the ground to water the earth. They cause the grain to grow, producing seed for the farmer and bread for the hungry. It is the same with my word. I sent it out and it always produces fruit. It will accomplish all I want to and it will prosper everywhere I send it. Honestly, let me read it NIV because I feel like that one may have the words I want to say. Yes, so this time I'm reading Isaiah 55:10-11 as NIV version because I feel like it has the words I want to say because that one was good, but it wasn't exactly right. So it says, as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater, so is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but it will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. So basically what he's saying is that so it's like the word that comes out from God's mouth, it will not return to him void. It will go down, it will water the ground, it will do what he needs to do for whatever he wants to accomplish. So that's something to keep in mind. And I remember a couple years ago, my mom read that verse to me, and it's kind of like one of those verses that sticks to you. So it has always kind of stuck with me. So I was like, okay, that's a verse. But during that time, when I was crying about my school, I was like, oh my Lanta, that verse helped me a lot. You won't believe it. But anyways, so yeah, I had that verse with me and I was like, God, you said your word will never water down. It will never go down to you void. And then if what you said to my pastor is true, which I was very much that's the truth. This is what I'm choosing to believe. If that word is true, then I will be able to go to school, not have to worry about paying for anything. And I know it's all in your hands. Or even if I do end up taking loans and stuff, it won't be a problem. I'll be able to pay it. So I was like, God, you told me this. I'm freaking out, man, because I was worrying, which is something that whenever my pastor was talking to me, that God told me not to do, or you won't have to worry. But I was worrying, and I was during that time, this was kind of the way my prayer was going. I was like, God, I'm worrying a lot. I can't help my worry, but I know you can do this. I believe in you, man. I trust you. But oh my Lanta, I'm worrying crazy, man. This is just my human self. In my heart, I want to believe that you can do it. But my mind can't help. So please, God, please do something miraculous, something wonderful, something spectacular. And I remember there was a story in the Bible. I don't know if I'm quoting it right. I actually heard it recently, which, I also read it too. But there was this father, I think he was asking for Jesus to set his son free. And then Jesus was talking something about his faith, his unbelief. And then the father was like, I know I have a lot of unbelief, but please help rid me of my unbelief so you can heal my boy. And Jesus was like, okay, bam, boy was healed. And that was a terrible explanation, but it was somewhere in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. See, my issue is that I don't know where it is. Let me look it up again. This will be a trend in probably a decent amount of my videos that I don't prepare for, but on the ones I prepare for, it will be better. So Bible verses about man with unbelief. Oh, it says Mark 6:6, Mark 6:4. Yes, it's Mark 9:24. I meant 9:24. Sorry, but Mark 9 verse 24. And honestly, yeah, I'll go back to NLT. And it says, okay, so here's starting from verse 17. One of the men in the crowd spoke up and said, "Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk at all." Well, I added that part, that won't let him talk. And whenever this spirit seizes him, it throws him violently to the ground. Then he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast out that evil spirit, but they couldn't do it. Then Jesus said to them, I feel like he was talking to like the people in this moment, but also to the disciples. But anyways, Jesus said to them, "You faithless people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." And what's it called? So they brought the boy, but when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, writhing and foaming at the mouth. This is also why I feel like you have to be careful whenever casting spirits out of people, because like sometimes you do this, and I feel like you have to be at a point where you're like spiritually ready to deal with that. Because I remember at church camp, I would see things like that, and I was like, whoa, like, am I at a point yet where I can like cast them out even when they do go crazy? So that's something I'm still working on. I mean, granted, I haven't really cast out any demons like exorcism style, but like, you know, I pray here and there, being like, God, we cast out the spirit of fear, stuff like that. So anyways, verse 21. How long has this been happening? Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied, since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. Which is something I realize a lot with spirits in people, because like, what's it called? Whenever you're dealing with an evil spirit, I'm like, it really depends. Like, sometimes evil spirits are just there just to get rid of you, because like sometimes whenever the devil attacks you, it's because he knows like you have a destiny. So like with an evil spirit, like this evil spirit was probably trying to kill the boy because he probably had a purpose that God wanted to use him for. And what's it called? And he was trying to kill him because like if he's dead, then no more problem, then no more awesomeness. But luckily, the boy was still alive. I mean, he's not alive today because like he was born in Jesus times, but he was alive in the moment, guys, okay? And what's it called? And the father said, and then he said, since he was a little boy, the spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. See, emphasize on if you can, you know, like Jesus, if you can do this, if you want to do this, if you can, like. And then Jesus responds, what do you mean if I can? Jesus asked, anything is possible if a person believes. And here it's like, here's one point that I want to talk out to people in a mini tangent. Is like, sometimes we limit God and what he does. We're like, God, if you can, if you wanna, if you will, if you know, like. And I feel like whenever you use the word if, it kind of insinuates that, you know, like the possibility of it not, like maybe the person can't do it. And I feel like, you know, sometimes like God may not do something right now. He may do it later, or he just in general won't do something for you because like A, it's bad. B, he knows if he gives it to you right then at that moment, like you're not ready. You're just not ready. But even in that, you still have to acknowledge his power, that even no matter when, even if dead or alive, rain, sleet, snow, whatever, like even if I have all the money, even if I have no money, that you're still able to do what you said you're able to do. Like I still know, like there, I can still believe in you. Like the way I like saying it is like, whether I'm the most wealthiest person in the world, I have all the money, or whether I'm broke, I have absolutely nothing, I still know that you are God, and no matter what, I still gotta love you, you know? Because whatever you do is for your good, and it may not make sense to me, but it may make sense later on. So although I still will pray, like I still know God has all the money, you know? So I'll be like, God, please give me money. I know you can do this, man. So please. So anyways, Jesus says, what do you mean if I can? Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. Then this is the part that stuck out to me. And then the father instantly cried out, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. And I feel like that was me in that moment, crying about my tuition. I was like, God, I do know you can do it. I do know that you said this to me. But right now, I'm like, my human mind is telling me not to believe. So please help me learn to believe. Like, even though I don't believe, I know you can. Even though I don't believe, I know that you can. I believe that you can. And you know, like, whenever some people, like coaches say, like, oh, like, if you say you can't do something, you can. But even if you're like low-key, quote unquote, lying, and you say like, oh, I believe I can do this, so I know I'm smart, eventually you're gonna start believing that, and eventually it will become true, because there's life in the death in the tongue. Choose life so you may live. That's not the exact verse, but it's somewhere in Proverbs where it says something along those lines. And then after this was the best part. Whenever he prayed that prayer, this is whenever Jesus did his work. And Jesus saw the crowd of onlookers was growing. He rebuked the evil spirit. Listen, you spirit that makes the boy unable to hear and speak, he said. I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again. And he said that with, like, you know, that Jesus confidence, that exclamation point, that like, this is what I said, this is what I command. And with the authority, that's the word, with his authority. And then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran throughout the crowd as people said, he's dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. And that was the part where I'm probably going to stop at, because the part I really wanted y'all to hear was the part where the father said, if I can. Jesus said, what do you mean if I can? And then the father was like, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. And this is what I'm going to say to you guys. There may be a problem in your life where you feel like, oh, like, I don't know if God can do this. I don't know if he will. I don't know. And I'm like, honestly, it's okay. I'm like, it's natural for us to worry. I mean, don't worry too much. Don't be like a crazy worrier every single day. But what's it called? It's natural to worry, especially whenever things are bad. But even in that time of worrying, still trust God. And even pray this little prayer of, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief, is so powerful, because it's like, you can acknowledge that, like, sometimes you struggle to believe, but sometimes, like, God can give you the remaining faith you need in him to overcome. And that also reminds me of like another verse where it's like, all you need is a faith of like a mustard seed to move like a mountain. Like, sometimes you don't need a lot of faith, but even then you still want to get more faith, because, like, you know, that's like if you're a beginner Christian, right? It's understandable if you don't have a lot of faith, but like if you're like someone like me who has been in the church since she was born, because like my mom got saved when she was 13, so it's like only natural for like me and my siblings to like also be Christian too. So it's like I grew up this way. It's like, and also depending on how much you read the word and stuff, you're expected to do more. So it's like, have more faith. Like, it shows that you're growing as a person, but you can pray to God for him to help you with that. And basically, I'm here to say, like, if you're having trouble with faith, believing God into doing what he said he will do, or what you know he can do, just tell God, like, I know this in my heart to be true, but I'm struggling to understand it, so please help me overcome that unbelief so I can believe. And what's it called? And now I'm just gonna continue on to my story. So basically, after I freaked out, one day my dad sent all the money. He sent the $11,000 I was owed. And I was like, okay, but I don't know if it will let me. Then me and my mom went into my financial aid thing. And then I was like, we have to pay like all of the money. But then I look at it and I was like, it says I only owe $1,000, well, $7,000, because by that time it already showed like the spring semester stuff, but spring semester or fall semester, and I was like, that's next year. And I was like, but it was only showing like 7,000 instead of like the regular like 16,000, which would have been like 11,000. I was like, sorry, I just freaked out because the room next to me, the lights are off. that's like freaky. And this place is kind of creepy because I'm in a library, but God is with me. I won't die in here. Anyways, what's it called? And then I was like, if I remove the 5,900, I know that's only like 1,100. And I was like, why is this saying that? Why is my tuition lower? That makes no sense to me. And then I kept looking, me and my mom were like, what's happening? Like, there's something there, because why did it all of a sudden shrink? Then we go in, and this was literally a miracle from God. This is like an only explanation for me. And then we see that I got a $10,000 scholarship. I got a $10,000 scholarship when I owed like $11,000. And I was like, bro, what in the world? Oh my Lanta. And then I was like, bro, whenever we saw that I only had to pay $1,000, and then we had to call and confirm. But me and my mom were already jumping for joy, praising God. We were like, oh my gosh, God, what did you do? This is so awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then like, what's it called? And then we called my school to confirm. We were like, hey, so we got this random scholarship thing. We want to know, is this a real scholarship? Because I didn't want it to disappear, because that would be awkward. And they were like, we don't know this scholarship, but yeah, you definitely did get a scholarship. And I was like, bro, thank you, God. Like, how is this even possible? Like, oh my Lanta, thank you. And I was like, bro, that was like a crazy experience for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, God, this further solidifies that I know this was the school you wanted me to go to. I know that you're gonna provide all the way through school for me. So even if I do have any financial troubles, even if I can't rely on my earthly father, I know I can rely on my Father in heaven. And that was what I got from that. So then I kind of had a similar problem last semester, fall semester, about paying for this semester enrolling and stuff, which I'll just tell you ahead of time. I got into all my classes, I was able to enroll, and I'm here back on campus, hence why I'm recording this video. But anyways, what's it called? I was like, God, but this time I had more like faith in it. I was like, God, like I didn't cry as I did. I mean, I was like, I freaked out, but I wasn't freaking out. You know, I was like, bro, I have to pay for my school. Hey, Dad, I have to pay for my school and stuff like that. And then like, what's it called? Me and my mom, we just prayed. And then we had like this little like New Year's fasting for my school and stuff. And then I was like, honestly, like, God, like, I know this is the school you sent me for. I can trust that you will help me pay for my school. Like, I just know you have like that God power in you, man. Well, I didn't say it like that. I said it a lot better and more like Christian-like, but like, if you realize me, that's kind of how I talk whenever I'm explaining things. I was like, I believe you, man. I know you can do this, bruh. Well, Father, but what's it called? And then I kind of like prayed about that. And then it did happen. My dad did send the money for school, although it took a lot, and I mean a lot of asking. But I was able to apply, and here I am, spring semester. I'm balling. My tuition has gotten significantly lower. So the year before, with that $10,000, I ended up getting $72,000 in financial aid, meaning that year I only paid like $13,000. And this year, because let me just say, this school is whack. They keep increasing our tuition and stuff by 4%, like for a room and board and stuff like that, like our dorms and then our meal plans, by like 4%. And I'm like, guys, just because we got into the ACC, like we got all that money, all that donation from that Miller guy, only for our washing machines to still be broken. Like, come on, guys, we really need better. But I still love this school anyways. But it's just like, you know, helpful criticism. But it turns out that year I only paid like I got $72,000 in financial aid. So we only had to pay again that $13,000 that year. And then, but for this year, with the increase in tuition and stuff, because me and my mom, we applied for the Parent Plus loan. So then we got some money for that. And then I was able to get at least a little more money. And in terms of like the loans I've been taking, I'm not just gonna like limit God, because sometimes you may think like, oh, like scholarships is the only way. But I'm like, he said I'll have the finance, so I won't have to worry about school, or I won't have to worry about like my money. So even if I do take a loan, I'm under the impression of like, you're gonna give me enough money outside of school, or even like someone will randomly give me money on the street. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you will, for me to pay off those loans and to not have any debt to my name. Amen. But anyways, so then we took that one. But this semester, I got a total of $83,000 for school. And then I got another scholarship, which was, it was called Sorry, this thing is confusing me big time. But I basically got this new scholarship called the Miller's Diversity Scholarship, where they gave me another $10,000 for school. So basically, like, what's it called? They gave me $5,000 fall semester, $5,000 spring semester. And I was like, how do I keep getting these random scholarships, God? Like, thank you. But man, like, I didn't know your favor was on me like this. And now, like, this semester, I only have to pay a little less than $5,000, which is still a lot, and I'm still having trouble, but I know like God will see me through. I'm less worried. So that's basically like my advice to you guys, because I feel like this is a good place to end the video, is that no matter what, even if you have a little bit of faith, like still put your faith in God. Like there was this one verse, I think it's either Proverbs or Psalm, or actually, this is a very Isaiah thing to say, I'm not gonna lie. But basically, he was saying, like the Lord is like honey. Taste him and see how sweet he is. So let me see. Bible verses about honey. Guys, I didn't even know I was gonna go this route. But, I don't know. Man, what the? How many people in the Bible ate God's word and tasted like honey? Oh, well, actually, it's not what I was thinking about. But anyways, I still think this is pretty valuable. But it is... Oh, actually, it might be a psalm. Kind of. So here it says Psalm 19 verses 9 through 10, where it's like, the fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The decrees of the Lord are firm, and all of them are righteous. They are more precious than gold, than much pure gold. They are sweeter than honey from the honeycomb. Yes, it's Proverbs 24:13 through 14. So I'm just gonna pull that up real quick, and I honestly don't think I'm gonna edit this video much. I feel like it's pretty solid where it's at. But Proverbs 19 verses 9 through 10. What the? Oh, it's 24. Okay, so it says the schemes. Oh, it's 13 through 14. Sorry, guys, I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, so it says, my child, eat honey, for it is good, and the honeycomb is sweet to the taste. In the same way, wisdom is sweet to your soul. If you find it, you'll have a bright future, and your hopes will not be cut short. But anyways, I could have sworn there was like a verse. I don't know if it was in Malachi, but it said, what's it called? To taste the Lord and realize how like sweet he is. Granted, there are a billion verses about honey. I'm just realizing that now. So I'm like, ooh, like, will I find it? Oh yeah. Interesting. I guess they really loved honey back then. I mean, granted, like, I don't think they had sugar yet, since I think sugar cane came from the Caribbean. History brain. So yeah. But anyways, that's my video, and like I said again, this was unscripted, so I'm sorry if it was kind of all over the place, but this was kind of like the way I wanted to explain it, and I felt like it was on my heart to share at least my current testimony, and I believe that there's still going to be more along the way, so I'm just going to believe God for it, and I'm going to continue studying what I'm studying right now, accounting, world languages, and I'll continue on that path that He has for me. So anyways, I guess we close our eyes and pray a short or long prayer. We just need to pray. So thank you, God, for waking us up today. Thank you for protecting us throughout the night and for keeping us safe this year so far, and for you to just please help and protect us throughout the year as we go on. And thank you for paying for my school and for allowing me to not have to worry about my tuition for real. And to God, and for this video to also speak to the other people who may be going through similar struggles to me, for them to know that even if they struggle with their unbelief, for them to just pray to you and be like, help me overcome it, for them to rely on you and to depend on you, and for them to know that you're their everlasting help, God, like that you're just there to help them. And that we pray that this year will be an awesome year for school, an awesome year for finances and everything. But in that success this year, for us to still remember that you were the one who brought us there, and you're the one who could easily take it away, so that we don't get like big heads. And for you to also for us to just learn to radically love you, which I know because it's the theme of Mercy Culture. I love that message, to radically love you, even if it means like telling people the truth, or just to like, be there for people because you are love. Therefore, we should do the same. And for you to help us to gain wisdom and to learn to get understanding, and for you to help us get that understanding so that we can understand your word in depth. And yeah, in Jesus' name we say amen. And yeah, looks like that is it for this video. Again, I hope this audio thing worked because the bar has been pretty low. I wouldn't mind if like the volume is low. I just hope it recorded like everything I said. But I have like an hour's worth of stuff to listen to now, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Also, first I have a quick question. So I was thinking that I was gonna create like a mini series on my channel called Biblical Literacy, where basically I am going to be like, in my journey of learning the Bible, I kind of wanted to share it with you guys, because I know that like my generation, Gen Z, because I'm a 2005 baby, I don't acknowledge anyone after, even though like my siblings were born in like 2006, 2008, and 2012, but that doesn't matter. They're my family. I love them. I love their years, but 2005. But anyways, yeah. I was thinking of like doing like a biblical literacy thing, where basically I like read certain parts of the Bible and kind of like go through it with y'all, so that you guys can gain an understanding and we can get that important biblical literacy. Because I realize nowadays like people aren't really understanding the Bible in the way that it's supposed to be, and sometimes even I don't respectfully, but like I kind of like want to go on that journey of like, okay, reading the Bible, using context clues, things like that, and understanding it in the way that God wants us to understand it. So this will be the year where we get understanding. But the question was like, okay, I'm thinking about a title. I have a bunch of titles for this channel. So I actually have 3 names, or 4. So 3 names. So it's either going to be Bib Lit 101, Bible Lit 101, or Bible Literacy 101, or Biblical Literacy 101. Oh, that's 4. I'm kind of leaning towards biblical literacy, but I kind of want to see what y'all have to say. So yeah, but that is it for my first video. Bye, and I hope you have an excellent day.